Choose to Lose. My name is Joe Jordan. This is the weekend special. It's going to be a little different today. This is going to be me and on social media, Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, follow Joe Never Lose. It's on Instagram and Twitter. So basically, I put a post out and I said, hey, ask me any question. Of course, I'm only going to use the ones that's sports related, right? Ask me any question, I'll answer on the weekend special. And so that's what we're going to do today. We have 5 questions. All right, 5 questions. So what I did, so I won't have to prepare or nothing like that. I try to do everything on the top of the dome. So I just took a screenshot of all the questions and then, just did a quick glance at it, whatever. And I just picked 5 of them. All right. And let's get to it. So the first question is this. The first question is, all right, so basically all these questions besides one question, I had 3 of these questions. I knew I was gonna get these questions. All right. The first one is, why are you a Kings fan? A Sacramento Kings fan? All right. So in the early 2000s, right? So I'm 31. For those who don't know, I'm 31 years old. And in the early 2000s, I was around 10, 11 years old. All right. And the Kings were good. The Kings were the number 1 seed. They had Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, Peja Stojakovic, right? Mike Bibby, Bobby Jackson comes to the bench, Doug Christie, who I think should be the Kings coach as of right now. It's like should be the permanent coach. Number 1 seed, best team in the league as far as record-wise, going to the playoffs, make it to the Western Conference Finals. And in the middle of that season, I fell in love with the Kings. Just fell in love with them. The player that stuck out to me the most, though, was Mike Bibby. So I like Mike Bibby. So Mike Bibby said, a lot of people assume that I'm a Kings fan due to the Jay Williams days. When Jason Williams played for our team, I wasn't really a fan. I wasn't really a fan of the Kings. I wasn't really deep. And I was watching NBA all the time like I was when Mike Bibby got there. So I became a Kings fan. And then Robert Horry, man, made that 3-point shot. It killed me. And, ever since then, we made the playoffs. Well, we made the playoffs in 2006, I believe, when we had Kevin Martin, Bonzi Wells, Mike Bibby still, and stuff like that. But other than that, we ever snipped the playoffs. But I'm going to be a loyal fan. I'm going to stick it through because, like, people always say, Joe, just switch up. Get a new team. If I leave the Kings now, and then next year they make some crazy move in the off season, and then now they become a playoff team, I just missed out. All these years, I'm going to make sure that I'm there and still a fan when they are actually good. All right. So, but that's why I'm a Kings fan. I became a Kings fan because when I started watching NBA all the time, the Kings were the best. So I liked them. And I guess according to a lot of people, I picked the wrong year to start watching basketball. Right. So, but hey, I'm sticking with the Kings. All right. I've been a loyal fan since. I never abandoned a ship. That is who I've been. So that's why I am a Kings fan. That's why I'm a Kings fan. Never been to Sacramento in my life. Never been to Sacramento. I would love to go, and I plan on going this season to at least one game and watch them live. But I never been. Never been to Sacramento. Don't know nobody as a Kings fan for real. Never met a true Kings fan like myself. Never have. So it would be awesome to be in the atmosphere like that with a bunch of other Kings fans. So this year, this NBA season, I'll be in Sacramento for one of these home games. All right. And I'm pretty sure for those who know me, you probably know what the second question is. Why are you a Washington football team fan? It's weird because it's funny how I get that question. I was talking to one of my brothers today, and we were talking about how I used to like the Broncos. Yeah, I used to like the Broncos. I used to be a Broncos fan. Why were you a Broncos fan? Hey, kind of same reason why I became a King fan, right? When I started playing Madden, the Broncos were good. The Broncos were good, but I always liked Washington, the at the time Redskins too, because of my dad. My dad was a die-hard Redskin fan, so I moved around a lot when I was a kid. I lived in Detroit. I lived in Memphis, Tennessee. We lived in Georgia. I mean, we lived all over the place. We used to always travel, move, and stuff like that. I never really stayed Well, I never really went to school in DC until I was like in sixth grade. All right. But I always went to school somewhere else, like in a different state. So when I moved to DC the first time, start being there 24/7, um, I was already a Washington fan because the hometown team is my dad's team. And I was a Broncos fan. So I just believe I can't even remember like why did I drop the Broncos, but I'm just assuming that because I was home and I was around a bunch of Redskin fans and my dad, I just dropped the Broncos and just stuck with one team, you know, because the Broncos was AKA my AFC team. I know people have AFC, NFC teams. Nah, I just have one team, and that's the Washington football team. And I've been loyal every since. Listen, they disappointed me so many times, but I'm still a fan. You know, even though the owner is a problem, but I'm still a fan. You know, I'm still a fan. And my greatest year as a fan of the Washington football team was RG3's rookie year. I felt as a fan, I felt invincible as a fan. All right, but better days are coming. Better days are coming. All right, so the next question is this: who is your favorite NBA player of all time? Who is your favorite NBA player of all time? Not best, favorite. Kobe Bean Bryant. Joe, how you a Kobe Bryant fan? You like the Kings? Crazy, right? I used to hate Kobe. I used to hate Kobe, y'all. Like to this day. I mean, God rest his soul, but to this day, I still think they cheated in game six when he elbowed Mike Bibby on the inbound pass. That was a foul, you know. So, but it is what it is. They shot all those free, you know. Anyways, I used to hate Kobe. I used to hate Kobe. I used to hate the Lakers. Anything about the Lakers, I used to hate them. And then I have a thing about I like seeing greatness. All right, so Kobe went through a slump after the Lakers, the three-peat. He went through a slump. And the sad thing about Kobe's career, the reason why a lot of people don't consider him top five is because in his prime, he had his worst roster in his whole career. In his prime. When he was dominant, when he was right in his prime, he didn't have a team around him. You know, so they made a trade, they got Pockets over there, blah, blah, blah. And they won. So in '08, they played Boston. And I remember Boston created a super team overnight, like on draft night. They got Ray Allen, they got KG. And then I will never forget, you know, from being from DC, Washington Wizards when they had Antoine Jameson, and Gilbert Arenas, Larry Hughes, all that stuff. The first game of the season when the Celtics created that big three, the first game of the season, they played the Washington Wizards, who the year prior, I believe, lost to the Cavaliers in the playoffs. So they're a playoff team. The first game of the season, they beat the Wizards by like 30, the Celtics. And I was like, oh, this ain't gonna be nice. They get to the finals, they play the Lakers, who are the underdog. And I was rooting for the Lakers. That's the first time in my life I ever rooted for the Lakers. All right. Whenever the Lakers played San Antonio, I rooted for the Spurs. Whenever the Lakers played Phoenix, I rooted for Phoenix. Whenever the Lakers, whoever they played, I rooted for the other team. Even Portland, when Portland played the Lakers in that Western Conference Finals, I was rooting for Portland. So now, so they play the Lakers, and I'm rooting for the Lakers. First time in my career. So I said career. First time in my life. And then the Celtics just manhandled the Lakers. All right. So the Celtics won. And then you can see Kobe the next year. Kobe was an assassin. Kobe had this look on his face the whole 2009 season and 2008, 2009 season. And he was seeking revenge. He was seeking revenge. Like he was not smiling until he won a championship. You know? And at the same time, my favorite rapper, Lil Wayne, came out with a Kobe song the same year. So it was perfect. It was perfect. So I just fell in love with Kobe Bryant game in the NBA. I just fell in love with it, man. And then I became a fan that year, 2009. And then the whole year I was rooting for him. You know, when they played the Nuggets, you know what I mean, against Carmelo, and like the whole year. I was rooting for them, and they won. They won a championship. Then he came back and won back to back. And then Kobe game. See, my favorite player today is Steph Curry. All right, that's who I root for the most. And Steph Curry game is so exciting because he makes these unbelievable shots that you be like, what am I supposed to do with that? You know, Kobe was the same way. Kobe will make these difficult shots, and you just be like, this dude is the best in the game. Like contested shots, his footwork was crazy. I mean, the guy IQ was on a different level, and he worked on his. He was he's just great. So I became a Kobe fan ever since '09, and he's my favorite player of all time. I think Kobe Bryant. I don't know what people do behind closed doors as far as working out and stuff like that, but in the off season. But as far as like what I hear, Kobe was the hardest working athlete of all time. All right, so that's who my favorite player is of all time, Kobe Bean Bryant. Number 4, I knew this question was gonna come. Why do you hate the Cowboys so much? Why do you hate the Cowboys? Now look, I don't hate the Cowboys. All right. I don't like them. I also don't like the Eagles. I also don't like the Giants. I don't like nobody in the same division of the Washington football team. Believe it or not, when I was in high school, one of my friends, Blaze, he was on a weekend special. All right. When I was in high school, I hated the Eagles more than I hated the Cowboys. All right. Like perfect example. So Blaze is an Eagles fan, and Ron, matter of fact, me, Ron, myself, Ron, and Blaze on the same weekend special. All right. So Ron is a Cowboy fan. Blaze is an Eagles fan. But when the Cowboys won, I I rarely heard anything from Ron. Like Ron never like talked trash a lot about the Cowboys. You know what I mean? I mean, we used to do our little debating and all that stuff, but he never like went out his way to tell me that they beat us. Blaze, whenever the Eagles won, this dude made sure I knew they won. He would be texting me. He'd be on social media all day just talking trash about the Eagles. So I don't dislike the Eagles because who they are. I dislike them because obviously one of their fans, because they fans. So as of today, I can't stand the Cowboys. Ain't got nothing to do with CeeDee Lamb. Ain't got nothing to do with Dak Prescott. Ain't got nothing to do with Jerry Jones. It don't have nothing to do with Amari Cooper. It don't have nothing to do with Zeke Elliott. It don't have nothing to do with none of those guys. The reason why I hate, not hate, sorry. The reason why I dislike the Cowboys is because of their fans. And it's ironic. It's funny because when the Cowboys win, all you hear, how about them Cowboys? The Cowboys the best is like the Cowboys when they're rolling, they are overhyped. Think about it this year. They were 6-1 they were at 6-1. So were I think the Rams, the Cardinals, the Packers, and the Buccaneers, I believe. Oh, the Buccaneers probably 5-2. But basically the whole league was looking at the Bucks, Cowboys, Packers, Cardinals, and Rams. Those were the top 5 teams. All the top 5 teams in the NFL were in the NFC early in the year. And these were the 5 teams that people were like, I don't know who's the best. And then you look at those same 5 teams, who out of those 5 teams look mediocre? It's the Cowboys. Because whenever they do good, they get overhyped. And whenever they don't do good, they get joked on. But Cowboy fans, they take all they take all like when they get overhyped, they take it in. You know what I mean? They embrace that. They embrace the hypeness, and they will agree. Oh, this person's the best. This person's the best that. Oh, we the best at this. We the best at that. But when times are tough, all you gotta do is support the Cowboys. I'm like, you forgot how you were when you were winning. So the Cowboy fans are annoying. You know, they're sore losers. And that's why I don't like them. It's the fans. It has nothing to do with them. All right. So And I give props when props I do it. You watch one of my weekend specials. I said early in the season that the Cowboys were the best matchup to beat the Cardinals. So I give props when it's due, but I also tell the truth. And I'm going to be a little harder on the Cowboys. I'm sorry, because I don't like them. I'm going to be a little hard on the Eagles and the Giants because they are in my division. I'm going to. I'm sorry. I'm going to be more. I'm going to highlight more of the bad, but you do something good, I'm going to recognize it. I'm going to recognize it. So that's why I don't hate the Cowboys. I dislike them. All right. And here's the last question. The last question is I was not expecting this question, but it's a simple one. Who is the GOAT in the NFL? The greatest, basically the greatest of all time in football. Not just not football, in NFL. We're not considering college. It's Tom Brady. All right. And believe it or not, y'all, I actually like Tom Brady. I actually like Tom Brady. So you probably like, what? But listen, I actually grew up a Peyton Manning fan. So Peyton Manning and Tom Brady reminds me of Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan. All right. It reminds me of that because Tim Duncan, great player. Like if you look at both players and you ask me who is better, and if you don't know their resume, you just watch them play. Kobe is better than Tim Duncan. But if you look at their careers, you gotta take all that into consideration. You will rank probably you probably rank Duncan over Kobe just because he has more accolades. He always played with a great team. He had a great coach, all that stuff, right? Same thing with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Imagine if Peyton Manning had Belichick. Just think about that. Imagine if Peyton Manning had Belichick. You have one of the greatest offensive minds in NFL history, combined with the greatest defensive mind in NFL history. Who do you think is going to happen? But Tom Brady is the GOAT, though. You look at his accolades, it's unmatched. And I became a Tom Brady fan. And this is when I became a fan. So my wife, right? My wife, shout out to my wife, Heidi. My wife, she's from Rhode Island. All right. She's from Rhode Island and I'm from DC. I met her in College Park, Maryland. All right. So we met in Maryland, get together. I don't think we were married at this time. We weren't married yet. We were about to. I don't know, but it was a Super Bowl. All right. So this is a Super Bowl where it is the Patriots versus the Seahawks. Tom Brady against the Legion of Boom, the beat up Legion of Boom. And I went to the Super Bowl party. Mind y'all, I said my greatest NFL fan year was the year when we had RG3 rookie year. Remind y'all, RG3 career ended against the Seahawks. He got hurt. And ever since then, I could not stand the Seahawks. I used to be like, I can't stand what they did to RG3. I used to always hold this grudge against the Seahawks because RG3 ended up getting hurt against them. I knew if he never was hurt, he never got injured that game, the Skins would have beaten the Seahawks that game because they went up 14-0 easily. Then he got hurt on the scoring drive. That's another story. So at this Super Bowl party, literally everybody is rooting for Russell Wilson. As you can see, my skin color, I'm a black guy, so people tend to root for the black guy, right? So Russell Wilson, so they room for Russell Wilson. I don't like the Seahawks, and I don't like Tom Brady because I'm a Peyton Manning fan. It's either you a Peyton fan or a Tom Brady fan. All right. So my wife is the only one in there. Go Patriots. She's from Rhode Island. Go Patriots, go Patriots. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'll root for the Patriots with my wife. I'm not gonna leave her hanging like that where everybody rooting for Russell Wilson and crew. Tom Brady went down 24-0, 24-14. And in the fourth quarter, they pulled off and scored 14 unanswered points and won the game 28-24. Ever since then, I became a Tom Brady fan. I rooted for him ever since. The first time I rooted against them since that day was last year, again in the Super Bowl. Last year, because I was rooting for Patrick Mahomes. But other than that, I rooted for him every time after that. I rooted for him against the Seahawks when they played it. Of course, when they played the Eagles. Oh my goodness. When they played the Eagles, when they played the Falcons, I went to a Super Bowl party. I was the only one there. Me and Smiles named Darren. We both were the only ones in our whole Super Bowl party that was rooting for the Patriots because we wanted to see greatness be great. And they came way back and won. So yeah, but Tom Brady is a GOAT. But I think Peyton Manning is Kobe and Tom Brady is Tim Duncan. That's my great comparison to that. All right, so there I go. You guys know why I like the Kings, why I like to watch the football team, who's my favorite player all the time. Why do I not like why I dislike the Cowboys, not hate, and who's the GOAT of NFL. So, all right, so thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I appreciate the questions. Thank you for everybody who giving us the questions. The next weekend special will be with the Christmas version, and it's gonna be a good one. All right, so make sure you guys tune into that. And guess what? I'll see y'all next episode. Thank you for staying to the end. We really appreciate that. If you are listening to this on you or watching this on YouTube, we would like for you to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit the notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Radio, Google Podcasts, etc., we would like for you to follow us on those platforms. Also, hit the notification button so you can be notified when we're out. And last but not least, no matter what platform you're listening to or you're watching it on, share it with someone you know, and they could be part of the movement also. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.